pieces for representing February 14th. From this book, every event of the year. This is volume 1, January through June.
How come you got 3 one day?
Because 2 of them are for Valentine's Day and 1 of them is World Radio Day, which happens to be February 14th.
Thank you.
Haha.
Which
Which is...
Victory dance, yeah.
I'll do my dancing, not like I'm falling over. I'm doing my dance.
I'm dancing up for you.
This is the first one. It's for Aloud Radio. And that is February 14th. Haha. And it's called Video Killed the Radio Star. And so you know, I haven't read this in forever. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. But here we go. This is called Video Killed the Radio Star. Living in rural Pennsylvania years ago, even before the internet or cable TV, he hooked up wires with his old radio so that he could hear and get signals from WGN and hear the Chicago Bears football game. One night when I was little, when I was supposed to be in bed, sleeping, I heard on the radio that John Lennon was shot and killed. I knew it before my family read it in the Chicago Tribune the next morning. As I grew up, I loved listening to the radio. I couldn't afford to buy all that vinyl with no allowance, so it was the coolest thing to be able to hear new releases for free, right down to dance tracks mixes on the weekends. After moving to the northernmost edges of Chicago proper, I called one of the most popular Chicago AM radio stations because the DJ had art in my lit bag, and we talked poetry on and on the air. Over the years, I have read poetry on the radio. I have been interviewed and have sung songs on radio stations across the country. And sure, since then I've appeared on TV and have been on YouTube like mad, but still, there's an unending allure to that radio, to have that opportunity for people to judge not on the way you present yourself on camera, but hearing your words, hearing the sound of your voice, broadcast for all to imagine.
That's true. Right.
You've got a great voice for radio. You've got a great face for radio. And somebody was talking about loving old things. A friend of mine, and I'm going to interject and say this, was texting me last night saying, just out of curiosity, did you ever do anything at WEFT radio? Because he was a DJ there. And I'm like, duh, I was there with Mom's Favorite Vase with my band. And in fact, at least one of the tracks off of our CD, the demo tapes, is from playing at your radio station. Yeah, we were there, Angel, we did. He's like, you're kidding me. Oh my gosh, I remember back in the day how you would always work in the dark room and do stuff. And I'm like, and I just pulled out from my things, I'm like, I had a portrait of him that I took painted emulsion, and I painted it on like this rice paper. Wow. And I had a printout, and I'm like, hey, does this ring a bell? And I texted that over to him, and he's like, that was the most amazing thing to feel on the page. Because I just did it like paintbrushes on the edges, you know, and it was a photo of somebody.
How can you text an image?
Pardon me?
Can you text an image?
You can attach an image to a text. Yes. And I apparently left my phone over there, so I can't show it. So yes. But he was like, that was just an amazing thing that you were able to do all of that stuff back then. And actually, you're still doing amazing stuff. I'm like, that's really, really nice to hear a compliment about something that I did so old. Taking like, you know, painting emulsion on a paper and making prints. I remember you were talking about that, and that just went over last night. I'm like, and I think I wrote back to him, I'm like, you know, I think I'd like to keep you in my front pocket so I can just pull you out whenever I get a compliment made. That's the nicest thing to hear. Thank you so very much. But now I've got 2 about Valentine's Day. This one is so entertaining, you're just gonna love it. It's called the 14th. Grade school, lace and construction paper cutouts, mimicking our hearts with school glue, a 64 pack of crayons, a doily, perhaps, and a child's scribblings, be my Valentine. The beginning of every cold February, the classes of children were taught to make enough little hearts for everyone so that no one will be disappointed, so that everyone can be your Valentine. Nonetheless, one little child's construction paper mailbox come February 14th always had less than everyone else's. And then it gets easier as the years go on. Mummies buy little packs of Valentine cards for their children to sign and give away to all the little children at school. Saves them from having to make all those cards. The glue and the glitter and the cutouts are messy. Every 14th, second month when I was little, I remember Daddy bringing heart-shaped boxes home for all of his girls, myself, my sister, my brother. And I can remember Mother now, her candy box on the ironing board, thanking him once again for the lovely gift. And so it goes. And then the card shops get fuller this time every year. Husbands say, "My wife will kill me if I don't get her a card," or young women complaining, "My boss told me to get a card for his wife." And the flowers seem the same, don't they? Carnations arranged in a big ball atop of little baskets. Red, yellow, pink, lovely. All the adornments of the holiday don't stop short of the best. A girlfriend said to me that she's sure that boyfriends break up with you in the beginning of February so they don't have to buy you anything, so they don't have to say they love you. Last year, I spent Valentine's Day taking those chalky little hearts with messages on them and scribbling my own on the back. Screw you. Go away. Leave me alone. I never liked the taste of those candies anyway. And a Valentine's Day party where all the single people are thinking, "Please give me someone to go home with. Don't let me be alone tonight." And the women getting lonely, and the married couples arguing, and the suicide rate going up. And the woman looking at the carnations on her dining room table, holding a card in her hand that says, "Love, Jake," wondering why she doesn't feel any good yet. And I said that I wasn't going to read the poem that talks about the massacre, and I was wrong. I'm going to read it. Sorry, my love. I might as well get this one out for you. This one.
Bring us down.
Well, this is an interesting theory about, that everybody thinking this is a big deal for Valentine's Day. This is called Violations in the Name of Love.
Yeah.
A long time ago, a longtime friend was engaged to the man of her dreams. But she violated their trust when she started sleeping with a coworker. She told me, "I love this guy, but everyone loves my once fiancé." I told her, I hope it works out.
Yeah.
And apparently it did. Her longtime love forgave her, and the wedding was back on again. And she even asked me to be her bridesmaid, but that's when everything started to go so wrong. I respond to her emails, every single one, and even though I tried to appease, she would still be enraged with me because I believed in truth. So according to her, apparently honesty wasn't one of the tenets for being a friend. When I saw that there was no way this friend could ever be moral or honest with her fiancé to the man that she married or even to herself, that's when I ended the friendship. We were no longer friends, but because of our past, she invited me to her wedding. I didn't go to the church. It seemed their lack of morality seemed the church seemed kind of ironic for me. But I went to the reception on February 10th. Did like everyone else and complimented the bride. But they played country music, which isn't my style. So even though there was snow outside the reception hall doors, I went outside to dance with my love in the snow when the music might be then less muted. A minute or two after dancing, an old man walked outside and asked me to cut in. My love smiled, and I was touched that a stranger saw us from the hall and joined in the snow for a dance. In the name of love, these two once lovebirds chose a wedding day that was close to Valentine's Day. But 3 different men bearing the name were all murdered centuries before that date meant love. I suppose it makes me smile knowing that my parents were married on February 18th for Valentine's Day. But I should remember that the Valentine's Day before my dad was born was the Valentine's Day massacre with Al Capone in my hometown killing 7 guys from the other side. Because sometimes Valentine's Day isn't pretty. And even though my one-time friend married near this date, there was only another sign to me that this marriage wasn't going to last. Years later, I hear from another friend that remained her bridesmaid that she's divorced now. She should have known that violations in the name of love would never lead to happiness. Violations of that nature, no matter your implied intention, will never set you free where true love is meant to be. Thank you.